There are fixed components with dementia, mainly present memory loss and past memory loss. Present memory loss being more severe than past memory loss in most cases. And then, of course, the dementia blanks. But what the dementia resident does have control over is their attitude and their approach to it all. That at least they can have some degree of authority over. This all depends on their health, their cognition, their history, their support, their emotional health, their physical health, their social health. Many things come into it as to how a dementia resident is going to approach the whole scenario of having dementia and their level of disability and or ability with that. But still, over and above everything, still they do have that ability to be able to adopt an attitude of their choice, whether they wish to be negative or whether they wish to be positive. At least that is within their realm to be able to choose as to which attitude and approach they're going to adopt. I mean, it's difficult, it's extremely difficult, but the thing is that unless a person does adopt a strong, if not a positive attitude, at least a courageous attitude, a strong attitude, a confident attitude, an attitude which will enable them to rise above all the negative aspects of dementia that they're having to cope with. Because if they don't sort of fight it in a sense, then not exactly fight it, but sort of have a strong attitude, a confident approach with it, unless they have that, they can easily succumb to dementia, to depression, or escalate right up into anxiety. And those two emotional states, once you're in that framework, it's very difficult to come back to an even emotional equilibrium. Excuse me. And to manage dementia, you do need to have an even emotional equilibrium, because there's so many factors that you're having to juggle within your mind that's disturbing and confusing and conflicting, that unless you can have an even emotional stability, you actually get to the point often that you can't manage it. So managing dementia can be done, but you do need to have a positive, strong attitude and approach, and you need to want to make the effort to manage it. Where I worked at the dementia facility I was working with a group of 8 or 10 people, a larger group of 20, but the core group was 8 or 10. And this particular group began to realize that to be able to get away from the dementia spin and the dementia stress, they needed to redirect their thinking in a focused and concentrated way through the activities so that they could then make that effort to be positive and get a grip and control over their thinking and get quality of thinking, actually, which they did. And with that quality of thinking, once that good quality, positive, confident, courageous, concentrated thinking starts happening, then of course all those wonderful faculties of communication and, community building, etc. can happen. But it all starts with the thinking. And a disciplined effort does need to be made with dementia to get away from the dementia stress, to focus and concentrate their thinking. And then once that's in order, friendships can be made. Now, in terms of present memory loss, that's not such a concern, because in a dementia facility, everything's done for you. It's catered. Memory loss is catered to, because all your cares are done for you. Showering is done for you, laundry, meals, everything's arranged so that you don't need to perform the activities of daily living, but still your thinking is up to you. So that's why it's important to be able to redirect the thinking in a conscious, cognitive, concentrated way, and that way have a quality of life. Otherwise, you're having all your cares done for you, fine. that's being catered to. But what about your internal life, your thinking? You know, that's the main part of living, really, is the way that you think. And so that really needs to be paid attention to with dementia residents. It's not that difficult, really, because activities happen in every dementia unit, certainly in New Zealand. So as long as those activities are cognitive and the dementia residents are encouraged to engage and think and communicate, and there's other activities in place that stimulate and help, then it can be done, you know, step by step, not easily, but certainly in a methodical way. It's just like a classroom, isn't it? If you've got a teacher who's enthusiastic and interested for the school children to learn, then the children will be inspired to learn. And especially if it's a good classroom where you've got the front row that are really keen and enthusiastic, chances are that will inspire the second and third row. So that's the same with the dementia unit. It's just like a classroom set up at the activities, but the activities do need to be engaging and stimulating so that the dementia residents want to learn and they can learn, especially when the activities are geared for them. You know, you've got to have all the golden oldies singing some of the time to link in with their music. Then you've got to have the crown to link in with the Queen and the 70-year reign of the Queen and their wonderful experience with her. And then David Attenborough with all the animals, you know, that's fantastic. They love that, outside in. So you get all these wonderful programs going along with the reading. You get their glasses organised and their hearing aids organised, hopefully the newspaper subscription, and it all builds on each other. Once you've got the system going, then everyone can become enthusiastic and interested and start learning. And the dementia residents often used to say, we like to think and we like to learn and we're doing our best and we're trying hard. So it's just that they need that cognitive, for cognitive input, they need good quality information. That's the main thing, really. They need the magazines, the newspapers, you know, the good quality photographic books. And aligned with that, they need to have the accessories to be able to read them, like prescription classes. And they need hearing aids to be able to hear in the activities. So all these things need to be in place, and good walking shoes so that they can walk to the activities without, you know, slipping up and falling over. So once these are in place, though, things can tick along quite nicely. So I've written about all of these topics in these two books, The Resident's Voice and The Resident's Rise, both from a dementia unit, and both on Amazon and in my website, pietavalentine.com. Now, just to let you, all of you out there know, I'm sure many of you do know, but my background is physiotherapy, 35 years as a physiotherapist, working with geriatrics and dementia for most of that time. So there was a wide range of work there. I also worked with work-related injury, neck and shoulder tension and stress as well. So that was a big part of my career. But the last 8 years I worked with dementia purely as a diversional therapist, from which a lot of this work has come. But the physiotherapy background has helped a lot with being able to come up with positive practical techniques to be able to help these people practically, physically and cognitively, coming up with those solutions and listening to the residents, getting their ideas on board, getting their opinions, their input, you know, their angle of how things should be gone about to be able to help them. A lot of what the work I've done has come from the residents and what they have told me will help them. So especially in terms of being positive and being confident and needing all of this information to be able to think so they can communicate. All of this is from the dementia residents, which I put into this work and these books. So thank you for your likes and your communicating. Please pass on the links and please subscribe. Thank you.